I don't think your microphone is big enough.
I don't think it is. I wanted it to cover my face and act as an ice-breaking mechanism.
Nope. I can still see a little bit.
And the world's gonna know your name. What's your name?
Alexander Hamilton. My name is Alexander Hamilton. And there's a million things I haven't done. But just you wait, just you wait.
All right, I've got to be honest straight up from the top. I'm one of those people that's been waiting for a long, long time for it to come to the UK, and now it's coming out on Disney+. So that's great, but it means that I don't know anything and have purposefully kept myself away from Hamilton. So I've spoken to my Hamilton-loving friends, Emma and John, and they have a lot of questions. Are you ready?
Yes, thank you, Emma, by the way, for providing you content.
I mean, just wait. The first one from her is, are the Schuyler sisters now Disney princesses?
I don't think so. They're not any kind of royalty. And if you notice sort of the theme of the American Revolution, it's pretty like not so keen on royalty. That being said, I don't know if King George III is now Disney royalty. And that is between you guys and your sovereigns.
We'll speak to their people and they'll speak to our people and we'll work it out.
Thank you.
All right, another silly one, I suppose. As the people behind a show that rhymes anarchy with panicky, what are your favorite rhymes of all time?
I could give you my hip hop ones and I can give you my musical theater ones because I tried to thread my love for both of those throughout the show. The first one that comes to mind is Sondheim Company, personable and Matador coercionable. That's pretty incredible.
When a person's personality is personable, you shouldn't ought to sit like a lump. It's harder than a matador coercionable to try to get you off of your rump.
And then one of my favorite hip hop lyrics is one by a Puerto Rican rapper named Big Punisher, where he's telling this story about this shootout that is happening in a restaurant in Little Italy. And it culminates with the line, dead in the middle of Little Italy, little did we know that we riddled some middlemen who didn't do diddly.
Whoa.
And in fact, that is the line that Lin and I bonded over and really was one of the bedrocks of our friendship.
Dead in the middle of little did we know that we riddled some middleman who didn't do diddly.
So that lyric has a lot more weight than we've given it credit for. Yeah. Amazing.
I mean, 18 years ago, probably around now, like we both started saying that line at the same time. And my God, we still are talking.
Incredible. It reminds me ever so slightly of the hip-hop-opotamus from the...
His rhymes are bottomless.
Here's the hip-hop-opotamus, the hip-hop.
They call me the hip-hop-opotamus. My lyrics are bottomless.
All right, so let me ask a serious question. Imagine you're a British person who just so happens to not know who this Hamilton fellow is or what the show's about. If you don't mind selling the show that's an international super success to a bunch of, I don't know, Brits, what's it all about?
Well, I'm getting a lot of deja vu from when we premiered the show at the Victoria Palace Theater. And the big question was, well, we don't grow up knowing American history. And my answer is, neither do we. As our current administration makes painfully clear every day. To me, what makes Hamilton unique among the founders is that he's the one who didn't grow up on the continental mainland. He grew up, had a Dickensian traumatic childhood in Nevis and St. Croix.
When he was 10, his father split full of it, debt-ridden. 2 years later, see Alex and his mother bedridden, half dead, sitting in their own sick, the scent thick, and Alex got better, but his mother went quack.
And wrote his way to an education in New York City. He wrote an essay about a hurricane that had destroyed his island, and people went, this kid is smart, and they collected money so that he could get out. And to me, that was the thesis that formed in my mind was this guy is a hip hop artist because our favorite hip hop artists write about their struggle so brilliantly that they transcend it. You can sing that Eminem lyric and he can sing that Jay-Z lyric or Big Pun lyric because they write about their struggle so brilliantly that it becomes our struggle and it becomes a story we know. And so that was sort of my thesis that went into the very improbable story of Hamilton's short but very action-packed life.
Amazing. Thank you for that answer. I know you've given it 1,000 times in one fashion or another, but I do really appreciate it.
But he used Dickensian today because he knew his audience. That's working.
He saw me and went, Dickensian urchin. He'll love that.
Yeah.
Bleak House.
He went, Daniel Kitson.
Bingo. Right. So, Tommy, what are the biggest challenges when filming such a choreographically complex show? Like, are there particular moments that you'd like us to look out for?
What you asked really was my inspiration, like how to honor this, how to honor Andy Blankenbuehler's work, our choreographer, this cast of shockingly talented dancers and performers, our designers. My job was to try to see if I could, over 3 days, take the feeling that existed in that theater in June of 2016 and try to capture it. And also, in using the lens, give you access and proximity to parts of the story that you might not be able to see if you had never been in the building, or if you were sitting in the mezzanine or stayed, house right, or house left, or in the dress circle, British. So I think
stalls, British.
Yeah, that's all I know. And so I think that's what I felt like. How do I honor what it feels like to be in the theater, and also acknowledge and embrace the cinematic technique and qualities that I think this show deserves, which is an opportunity to get inside of the show and create an experience that allows us all to have the same seat.
This is going to be a huge moment when it drops on Disney Plus. Like, this will be a thing internationally. You guys both know that. Does this kind of put a bit of a dampener on the idea of a proper big film adaptation of Hamilton coming anytime soon?
It just feels like we hacked the system, because instead of an active translation, which is what all movie adaptations are, you're actually getting the thing we spent 6 years working on, and you're getting a fine film of it. So I don't know what it does for the future performances. I know that when those acts of translation happen and they work, they're amazing. I'm incredibly proud of John M. Chu's adaptation of In the Heights, which you'll hopefully see next summer. I think of Rob Marshall's adaptation of Chicago. Tommy is at work on an upcoming adaptation of Fiddler on the Roof, a new movie of Fiddler on the Roof. So, there is joy and an art to that as well. But we actually get to give you the thing, which is pretty cool.
Agreed. Just if you could keep Sam Rockwell in mind for King George. Just an idea.
If you go on the internet, you can. Yeah.
You were going to say it. Ben Schwartz and Sam Rockwell did a fake audition for Hamilton.
Yeah, Sam Rockwell auditioning for Burr in London.
In the musical Hamilton. The musical, the American.
Sam Rockwell's, search it on Twitter. The accent is a thing to behold.
Pardon me, or you are embarrassed, sir?
Well, that depends. Who's asking?
Oh, sure. Sir, I'm Alexander Hamilton. I'm at your service, sir. I have been looking for you.
I'm nervous, mate.
It traveled. It's well traveled, as a friend of mine once said.
Right, goes for a walk. Yes.
Patrick Marber.
As people who have brought us a song about comma placement with Dearest Angelica, how annoyed are you by movie titles with incorrect pronunciation and punctuation?
Not really. The fun for writing the comma sexting moment was the fact that was even a thing, that in placing the comma in the wrong place, instead of saying my dearest Angelica, you're saying my dearest, wink, wink. Insert Eric Idle here. And the notion of translating that into song was just too delicious a challenge not to figure out. It took me a month to figure out how to condense that into a way that you could understand it on first listening and scansion. But it was a worthy struggle.
Yes, it definitely worked. I'd like to ask
How did you know that if you don't know the show? That's a pretty deep...
Because that's a question from John, and
Okay,
he wanted me explicitly to ask it.
Yeah.
And I had to live up to his expectations.
Got it.
But this one is just a general one, which I'll probably leave you with, which is like a lot of the actors are probably going to see this luxury of seeing themselves on stage in this way. It's a real buzz, I'm sure, for them.
Two Virginians and an immigrant walk into a room diametrically opposed foes.
What have their reactions been coming back to you with what they've thought?
Oh, look, some actors don't like to watch themselves at all. So there's a couple folks that were in the show and I said, I was in the show for a reason on stage because I don't want to see that. And I respect that too. The sense I get is for the folks that did watch it is they got a chance to see not just the show, but the show that they were in, the show that they were part of at that moment. And I hope that they felt that energetic field was preserved as well as the message. And look, Peter Brook said, and I'm paraphrasing, that making theater, he was a British director, Lynn. Peter Brook said that making theater is like writing messages in the melting snow. And when you spent 20 years of your life making things that will disappear, there was something very profound for me about trying to capture something that can live on. And so that was really meaningful for me.
One day I will see it. Thank you so much, guys. It's been such a lot of fun, and congratulations and thank you for doing this.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Nice
Bye,
to meet
Emma.
And yeah, bye, Emma.
Yeah, bye, Emma. Bye, John.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon to keep up to date. You can listen to my Radio 1 movies and TV podcast, Screen Time, on BBC Sounds. And you can find these interviews in full on BBC iPlayer by searching Movies with Ali Plumb.